here is that KDLA is sponsored by the Library Sciences and Technology Act, and we thank the Institute of Museum and Library Services, IMLS, for sponsorship of this webinar. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. This is Alicia McGrath, and I am part of the CE section here at KDLA. And today, you all are joining us for the January 2025 Library Link Up, What's Cooking? And we have two presenters today that are going to tell us about what programs they do in their libraries associated with cooking. We did have a third presenter, Gail Ryan from Bullitt County, that isn't able to make it today, and she was going to send us me some information about her program, but I've not seen it in my email yet. So when she does send that, I will send it along to you all, so you all can have that information as well. But we are going to go ahead and we are going to get started with our first presenter today, who is going to be Erin Nevitt. I'm trying to combine your name, your first and last name, and to make it one name, from the Louisville Free Public Library. And she is going to present to you all what they have done with cooking and combining it with their makerspace. So I am going to stop sharing my little thing. I usually just like to throw up a map and show you where everybody's coming from that's presenting today. So Erin, let me pull up your presentation, and then I will have you take it away.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. So good afternoon. My name is Erin Nevitt, and I am a Youth Services Librarian at the Louisville Free Public Library. We are based in Louisville, Kentucky, and I am at a regional library, so I'm at a branch library that's considered to be a regional. It's called Northeast Regional Library, and that's where we have a maker space here at the library, and we have a kitchen space that we use to do different types of programming for all ages. So I am presenting today about programming that I particularly lead and plan in our maker kitchen here at Northeast. So I'm just going to go through these slides and just kind of talk about what we do here at Northeast. So Northeast Library is the latest library that opened here in Louisville. It's one of 18 library locations. It's considered to be a regional, so there's 3 regional libraries, and we are a regional, which means that we serve a larger part of the population in our county. So we're in Jefferson County. We opened in June of 2019, and then along with everybody else, we had COVID-19 and closed down. So we were really only open for 9 months before everything shut down in March of 2020. But we did open, and then we kind of just reopened. But we have been here for a little over 5 years. This past June, we celebrated our 5th birthday. We're a 40,000 square foot facility here in Jefferson County. And like I said, we serve about 170,000 people in eastern Jefferson County. So there was kind of a part of the county that didn't have a library in this part of the county. It's, probably considered a little more affluent in this area, but we do serve lots of different types of people who need help. So we did fill a gap, as far as building a library in this part of the county. And of course, if you follow Louisville Free Public Library, you know that we're continuing to build more branches and reopen branches. So we're in the middle of lots of other projects. So we won't be the newest library anymore pretty soon. We're happy about that. But so I am a children's librarian. I have been actually with Louisville Free Public Library for a long time, over 25 years, but I have been at this library for 5 years since we opened. And my cooking program started, it actually kind of started as a Tinker Lab program that we were doing here, just kind of doing STEAM, because we really wanted to do some STEAM programming, and that's what parents and children seem to be interested in. And then that kind of morphed into something that I called Read and Play, where we were like serving snacks and coffee and having a story time on a Saturday morning. And then that morphed into what I do now, which is I call it What's Cooking. And it is What's Cooking in the Maker Kitchen. And it is a children's cooking program for children ages 4 to 9 and their caregivers, parents, adults, whoever comes with them. To the program. We offer it on Saturday mornings so that we can fill that void of, all of our programs, especially story times, usually happen during the week in the mornings. So we decided to offer a program on Saturdays, Saturday mornings, so that people would have a chance to come to a program who, normally might work during the week, and they could bring their children to a fun program on a Saturday. It's not the only program that we offer on Saturdays either. We offer something pretty much every week on a Saturday here at this library. We are a larger library though, so we have more staff probably than other smaller branch libraries. So we have the capacity to do that. So we utilize our maker demonstration kitchen. This library was built with a maker space, and it's actually one whole wing of the library is called the Maker Pavilion. And so in the maker space, there's more of a maker space room where you can do maker type projects. And then the next part of the space is an audio visual room where we have a green screen room. We have a recording booth. We have places where people can practice music. They can do photography with the green screen. And we have a whole staff that's dedicated to all the maker programming. The only thing I do in here is cooking programs with the kids. I don't know anything about the maker space. But you can always reach out to the maker team and anybody can answer questions about that. And then we have the maker kitchen, which is a demonstration kitchen. And I was going to try to show you kind of, if I can in a minute, if I can lift up my computer and just show you what it looks like. But there is a full workspace for cooking in here. We've got a regular size oven and 2 smaller ovens. There's a stove. I think it's a reduction cooking stove. That's the method that it uses. So in here, I incorporate a story so that there's a literacy base along with the cooking. So we always start out with a story or 2, maybe a song. And then we get right into making a simple snack or a simple little meal. So we're not making like a whole big 4-course meal or anything with kids, but it's just getting them used to, very simple cutting. We have child-safe knives that we have a set of that we use. We have cutting boards. So, getting them used to handling fruit and, learning how to cut it a little bit, cut up a banana, cut up a strawberry, help pour and mix and use math skills to create something together. So we use a lot of measuring spoons and cups and, hand coordination with fine motor skills, with mixing. So I incorporate a lot of all of those skills into what we do. And we create a fun, simple snack while we go. I will say our friends, we have a friends group here that is very supportive of our library. And so they raise money through book sales here that we are able to use the funds that they raise. And a lot of our program, especially for children and teens, comes from our friends' support. So our Friends of the Library, that's based just for Northeast. Pretty much every library in our system has their own friends group. And so they fund, I would say, 100% of what we do here. And I would say I looked at some of our receipts from the past like 6 months. And I average about, like, I spent about $50 to $55. That's what I did this past 6 months on different ingredients for whatever the theme might be. We do have to have a limit, so we limit it to 30 children, and we ask patrons to register by calling the library, or we have an email that they can email us to sign up. So we do need to have a sign up so that we can kind of know, how many to expect, and to make sure we don't because we can only buy so much with the money that's allotted for that program. So we have to make sure that we're, going to have enough for everybody. So on the next screen here, you can just see some different flyers that, just to kind of get an idea of what we're promoting when we do this program. So that the one is the read and play is kind of what we were doing before, but they've always been on a Saturday morning, and then the what's cooking there. So we've had different themes such as soup. So we had soups on. Every year in December, I usually do like a gingerbread making one. So we get some more STEAM skills in there with that one. Then that's really a popular one. So we just kind of build gingerbread houses. I've done the typical graham cracker ones, and then I've also done the Pop-Tart idea where you build it with a Pop-Tart. But that's always fun, and people love that. So here's a list of some of the themes that we've done. We do try to take into consideration, dietary restrictions. We try to offer, a vegan option, or, something that's non-dairy. We do try to use other nut butters. And of course, when, people come in and I kind of get an idea for the room for that morning, what the audience is like. If I know that, there's somebody who may have a peanut allergy, we just kind of talk about it, and then we just won't use peanut butter if it's something that has peanut butter. I don't use peanut butter very much. I did that PBJ on a stick one time, and we did use that, but we also had almond butter as an option. But all of these have been really popular, and they just kind of go by the month and the season. So these are all kind of mixed up here, but the pumpkin-based one was actually really fun. We did a sauce, and so like I said, we have a stove here where we actually cooked the sauce. So the kids got to help prepare it and mix it and get it ready, and then I took over. I did everything on the stove, and we don't let any kids do anything with the stove or anything like that. Like I said, mostly what they do is help prep, any kind of, and most of the time I try to do a recipe that doesn't need the stove to be cooked. We try to do a lot of things that are simpler, that they won't ever need to be able to have to cook it on a stove. So those are some of our themes. I'm just going to kind of show some pictures of some of the themes and the snacks and meals that came out of it. So this was popcorn balls that we did in November, and we did melt marshmallow and butter to kind of make it sticky. So they created, popcorn balls with candies in them so that they could, take them home and either give it away to somebody or have a snack later. Most of the time we eat it here, but that particular day they took them home. Most of them took them home. We've done, like I said, salsa. We've done fruit pizzas with tortillas. We've done smoothies. And they've all been, this program is highly popular. That's our salsa making there on the left. And that other one is candy making, because we also partner with our local 4-H. So that's another element to cooking that we're doing here. We partner with them. And once a month they come in and do a program, and it's for older ages. So they serve ages 9 to 18. Yes, we love 4-H. So they did candy making, and that was that picture there on the right. And there's just some more pictures of kind of in action. I just like to get shots of children. There they are cutting the banana, and that was when we were getting ready to make fruit pizzas. So you can kind of see them working on that. That was a barbecue chicken pizza that we did with 4-H. And there's a gingerbread house making little picture there. They've done cupcakes with 4-H. We've done, just simple cookie decorating. So it kind of goes with the seasons and, kind of what's going on. Like in May, that's when we usually do salsa. There's some other ideas there. The jam tarts were really popular, and there's some other ideas there. We did do green eggs and ham one month for kind of Dr. Seuss-ish month. And we used spinach to make the eggs green, and it worked. And the kids actually, most of them ate it and enjoyed it. The parents loved it and wanted more. And there's just, and so I tie in a book usually with whatever we're working on for that day. So like I said, I usually have a story because I try to do a story time with it. So we usually read one book because this is an hour-long program. So, we only have time for so much. So it's not like a typical story time where, yes, they were. Sorry, I'm reading the comments as they come through. But it's not a typical story time where we're doing like a lot of rhymes and songs and books. But I'm really big on like literacy. So I want to make sure that we share a story along with what we're doing. And then during, the closing and with COVID and the pandemic, we did do some virtual programs. So there is a pancake breakfast out there that I did. You can find that online still on our website. And you can go to our YouTube channel and you can find we have several cooking programs that were recorded during that time. Some of them are for adults, so you can get ideas for adult programs too. And we had a couple of the kid ones were recorded. So we did a kind of make pancakes along. It was a live video, and the children could follow along with families at home and make pancakes along. So you can find that video so you can kind of get an idea what the kitchen looks like here. And that fruit pizza is something that I put on my Instagram. I made that for our staff. It's actually not something that we made for the program, but I just thought it was pretty, so I put it on there. There you can see, I just like to get the kids, the pictures of them kind of in action. So there they are. Everybody helps assemble. Everybody, takes part and gets a chance to add something. Of course, we, make sure that we talk a lot about hand sanitation and making sure our hands are clean and our hair is back, and that we're doing all those things to have cleanliness in the kitchen before we start cooking. There's some information about our 4-H Kids Cook that we do. We do those on a Thursday evening, and that is, like I said, ages 9 to 17. That's 4-H's age limit. But you can also see a lot of their virtual programs that they did during COVID, and they're all on our YouTube channel as well. So if you just want to get some ideas of things that people did that we were working on during that time. So there you can kind of see, we had the doors open there, and that you can look into the green space, the green screen space there, and see. But that is our space there there's like a long, large counter, and we have a hand washing only sink, and then we have another sink for like washing dishes. But it's actually, we're really pleased, and we're lucky that we have this kitchen here at our library, because it does allow us to do, and like I said, we do programs for adults too. We're getting ready to start a Chefs in the Kitchen monthly program here in every Monday, or one Monday a month, so it's going to be on a Monday night. But if you want to follow me on Instagram too, that's my social media account there, and I post a lot of photos of our cooking programs on there. And I do have pictures. I do have books, but I might just send a list of some of my books. I do have some books here, but I have gone on for a while. So that's my program kind of in a nutshell, even though I tend to think I don't have a lot to say. And then I start talking and I have a lot to say. But if anybody has any questions, you can, ask me in the chat, or you can always email me. But that is our What's Cooking program here at the Northeast Regional Library at LFPL.
Oh, thank you, Erin, so much.
Yes. Thank you. I'm trying to see what some of
Really
the other.
appreciate it. And like I said, you take all the time you need. Um, okay, Amy was talking
Yes.
about they
Let
don't
me
have a
see
kitchen, but
here.
what they've kind
Oh,
of done
yeah.
to make do and still
Yes.
have
And
a place.
4-H, they use the oven sometimes when they come, but a lot of times they bring, like, they have an electric skillet that they use a lot, and they just plug that in, and they do a lot of fun recipes without really having to use the stove. So 4-H, when 4-H comes, they do that. And like when I did the pancakes, I just used a griddle. Um, I saw some. I'm trying to open up all the chat questions. I can't quite open them, but I saw somebody asked, "Oh, what's your favorite book program combo?" Um, I'm trying to think. The gingerbread one is probably one of my favorites. I've done that a couple of times now, at least twice, maybe 3 times. And I read a book called Cookie Count, which is a pop-up book that we only keep back in the back for our Storytime collection. It's a Robert Sabuda book. It's called Cookie Count. So that's probably one of my favorites because this past time I actually collected little boxes and the kids, and we used icing, of course. Um, and the kids kind of use their little tiny miniature box to kind of shape their, I don't have a lot of pictures of that one, but they shaped their gingerbread houses kind of using the box. So that kind of helped give them some, form to their house that they were making. And just the designs that they came up with, some of them, I mean, one child made like this 2-decker house, and one made more of a flat, I kind of refer to it like a Frank Lloyd Wright style. It was just like a flat house, which I'd never really seen. So that was kind of cool because the box they were using was a little flatter. Um, so that's probably one of my favorites. The Jam Tarts was really fun too. I have to say that book, One More Jar of Jam. I don't have the book with me here, but that one, the kids really enjoyed that one. And we just used like pre-made pie dough, and we used like frozen blueberries, and I had just some like strawberry jam that, just a jar of jam. Um, and we might have also used strawberries, but we just kind of baked them in the oven, and it smelled really good in here, and it was just really fun. Another fun program that I just did, an intergenerational program with another one of our supervisors who kind of supervises the Makerspace team. We did a movie night, so we played the Muppets Christmas Carol, and we had cookies baking in here. So this was around like middle of December. So we showed that movie, and we did crafts, and they were able to go. So we had the whole pavilion open. So we had the doors all the way open. And the movie, we have like screens that are all connected together. So the TV was showing the movie, like looping on all the screens in all the rooms. But we had hot cocoa, and we had a little hot cocoa bar with like marshmallows and whipped cream. And we had cookies that we had been baking. So we bought just like pre-made, like cookie dough that's already made. But the kids got to put icing and sprinkles and decorate them with their family. So it was a family program, but then we also opened it up to just adults who wanted to come. So there was all ages program. It wasn't, just kids and families. It was adults. We had a lot of young adults that just came. We had some teens that came with, some of their parents or, so that was a really fun program actually. And we didn't read a book in that one, but that was fun. And we did a craft. We did like a little reindeer ornament craft, and then they got to use, we have a glow forge here in the makerspace, and so they had pre-cut like wooden ornaments, and the adults and with their child could like use like pens that are art pens, that paint pens that they could like paint onto the wood cut, and they got to take that home and make like an ornament. So probably recently that and the gingerbread program are probably my favorite ones that we've done recently. I have taken a little break right now, and I'm getting ready to start again in March with the What's Cooking here. So it's been fun.
Good. Thank you, Erin. Man, makes me want to go there and do some of that stuff.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are going to shift over from Erin. We're going to go to kind of the far east side of the state, and we are going to talk with Marilyn and Andrea at the Eastern Branch of the Floyd County Public Library, and they are going to talk about their cooking program. So whenever you two are ready, it is your show.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Bailey, and of course, I'm with the Floyd County Public Library here at Eastern Kentucky. And we do a cooking class once a month at the end of each month. And we try to stay at the same day, like every Tuesday, the fourth Tuesday of each month. We figure it's easier for people to remember that the class is coming up. And I'm going to let Andrea, she's actually the one that does a lot of the planning, plans all the cooking, what we're going to cook each month, and she's going to talk a little bit about it. And she is with the Cooperative Extension Office of Floyd County.
So I'm Andrea Sloan. I'm the Floyd County Family and Consumer Science Agent here in Floyd County, and this program got started around 3 years ago, and Marilyn randomly called our extension service, our extension office. I guess she discovered extension and discovered that we have a lot of free resources to the public, and or just resources in general to the public, and programs that we can do for free in the public. So we got together, and this cooking class kind of blossomed into something the people in our area really enjoy. So our cooking class is, before we get started, it's targeted towards adults, and we use all extension resources for this. And I'm going to talk a little bit about extension because Cooking Through the Calendar with Jessica Webb here in Estill County. Yes, that's awesome. That's a very popular program that we do in extension as well. But I was going to give you all a little bit more information for those that aren't as familiar with extension and how to get in touch with your extension office. And we're going to touch base on this program and how it developed. So what is cooperative extension? Extension is through the Land Grant University, and in Kentucky we have two of them. It's University of Kentucky, that is my employer, and Kentucky State University. And it is the link between the university and the state, everyone in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And we use only research-based materials, and it has to be strictly evidence-based for us to bring it to the communities. It has to be reviewed and researched. So our three major program areas in extension is 4-H, and that's like what extension is mostly known as, is 4-H. It's like we all had 4-H growing up. It was in the classrooms, and they focus on youth development mostly. There's also agriculture and natural resources. These individuals are known as the county agent. If somebody calls the office and asks for the county agent, we know exactly who to send them to, but these individuals work with the farmers and the growers in the county. And sometimes a county will have a horticulture agent, like I believe Boyd County in our district or in our area has a horticulture agent. And then there is me, Family and Consumer Sciences. We do also operate within the nutrition education program with extension, and there are also fine arts agents in extension. Pike County has a fine arts agent, But in family and consumer sciences, we primarily focus on health, nutrition. It's home economics, but we renamed it in the 90s and nobody knows about it. But just basic lifestyle skills, financial management, and we also work with leaders in the community. So Extension is pretty engaged in most of your all's counties. You will often see the homemakers doing things. You can see the Floyd County homemakers here in the little picture. That's their community service every year as they decorate the lodge tree. There's often quilt guilds. You'll hear your kids talk about the 4-H clubs, and then there's the state fair where they submit their projects, and the county fair. With ag, you'll see farmers markets. Like farmers markets are their own entity, but they're operated under the Extension umbrella. You'll also hear about beekeepers and cattlemen associations. And Extension thrives when we work with community partners, like we work with the local hospital, health department, and public library. Those are my 3 biggest community partners. So getting into the library cooking class. So the library's role is marketing the program. They provide the location and the signups. Marilyn, do you want to cover a little bit about what you do there?
Yeah. The first thing I do is we put out a flyer and we do our signups 1 week ahead. We get 1 week for signups. We did do 2 weeks in advance, and we limit it to 15 people per class. We actually have 2 classes twice a month, and they're both on the same day, like at 11 and 2 o'clock. But we used to have signups 2 weeks ahead of time, and it seemed like people would forget to come, so we were always calling everybody on the list, and we always do a waiting list in case someone cannot come. So, but that calling everybody took a lot of time, so we started doing signups 1 week ahead of time, and it seems like everybody remembers a little better if you don't go so far out doing your signups. But where these classes are such a demand, we have to limit the amount of people that come so Andy can prepare for how many's coming. So we always limit it to 15 per class, and they always fill up, and that's what we do. And also the location is in our community room, which is adjacent to our kitchen in case we have to use the oven or need the kitchen for something.
So Extension's role, Extension is a wealth of recipes. If you all don't know that, in your counties, you can reach out to the local Extension office and receive the calendars. And we probably have over 1,000 recipes on hand that have been tasted to make sure that they do taste good. I don't think we've had a recipe yet that we haven't enjoyed. There's ingredients. I provide the ingredients and all cooking utensils and essentials for the program. Sometimes that includes the aprons, it includes the cutting boards, the knives. I also have like indoor skillets or burners, indoor safe burners that I provide. And I also teach the class through the resources that the university provides. So we have 2 classes in one day. It was so popular and there was such a wait list, we decided to do 2 classes in one day. It is a very big day. We do an 11 a.m. and a 2 p.m. and we schedule this a year in advance. In Extension, our schedules can book up pretty quick, so we try to make sure that that 3rd Tuesday is designated for this cooking class. And we do it once a month. Then we set up the tables, and we've discovered that the tables are best set up in a U shape. It's easiest for me to travel table to table that way to help or assist anyone that needs help or has questions. And as you can see, we set up, I show up about an hour early and we set up all of this. I feel like everyone in the library pitches in and sets this all up so we can have it done in an hour, but everybody has their own little cooking space. and they have their own cutting board, own knife, everything that they need. And I pre-measure. It takes me the day before to pre-measure everything, like the certain spices. If we're baking, I'll bring the flour and they will measure it themselves to understand how to measure flour. But like spices and things like that, I pre-measure it so the program itself goes smoothly, and I have it in tiny individual containers. They're like little Dixie cups with a lid. But the agenda for the program is once we let everybody in, like it turns 11 or 2 p.m., we let everyone in, and before they even like really sit down, we ask them to wash their hands in the designated hand washing station. And we go over the recipe. It's teaching people how to read a recipe and see the ingredients needed. And then we start the cooking class. We do step-by-step instruction of the recipe. I show people how to properly hold a knife, how to dice things, how to properly check meats if we're cooking with meats, and just how to follow along the recipe. Participants also, sometimes we have some downtime, like say we're doing like a baking recipe and something needs to be in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. The library is the perfect location because we have about 20 minutes before the recipe will be completed. You're welcome to go into the library and browse and look through some books if you want any to check out. And once the recipe is complete or the food is like finished, done, we bring them back in and they sit down and try it. But if we're cooking with the skillets, they will sit down and try the recipe right there. We also provide waters for the participants. So some of the outcomes that we've had with this cooking class, people have verbally said that they have learned food safety, how to properly handle a knife, how to like chop certain foods. That's my favorite thing. That's my favorite thing I learned in college, is how to properly dice an onion. But the nutritional value of foods, it's like while the cooking class is going on, I talk about the like nutritional value of like zucchini or squash and how important it is to have a variety of different colors in our food. And people have learned how to read and follow a recipe. They have learned knife safety. Some have built confidence and independence from this program. And this has given people an opportunity to try new recipes or new foods. Like if they want to try something new, but they don't necessarily want to purchase the food themselves because times are a little bit tough, groceries are expensive, and they don't want to, say like eggplant or something, they don't want to spend money on eggplant when they could buy something else at the grocery that they know they do like, but it turns out they like the eggplant. They've also learned about ingredient substitutions and how to make recipes healthier. So how to find your local extension office. There's an extension office in all. So any suggestions? I will touch base on that, Stacy. First step is to find your local extension office and the contact information. And the easiest way is to go to the county website. There's an office in all 120 counties. And the websites are universal. It depends on the county you're in. Like you go to www.typethecounty.ca.uky.edu, and I put the Floyd County example below just for your all's convenience. And once you get on the web page, it will look like this. And you just scroll down and it will show what the extension office looks like, and it has the contact information right next to the picture. And I would suggest calling to get in touch with them. And if you go to the staff directory, if you're wanting to do children's programs or nutrition programs, you would just like scroll down, like I'm the FCS agent, and that's like cooking through the calendar and just general cooking programs, or the nutrition education program. But you just scroll through and look to see who you're looking for there. And the questions. So Stacy, first step is to probably call the office. Back on the staff directory, it has our emails as well. So you can also email who you're trying to get in touch with. Like if it's a youth program, you would get in touch with a 4-H agent. Like FCS, you can for adults, and it's like similar to like nutrition, like finances, things like that. But email or phone's probably best. But us in Extension, we probably do best when we partner, and they will probably be more than willing to partner with you if you have an idea of a program that you would like to do. Do we have any other questions?
So far, it doesn't look like it right now. So I think we are okay. If y'all have anything, please. Oh, yeah, there's one from, yeah, Trisha's asking if anybody else has cooking programs, those of you that are watching. So,
Well, I just wanted to say this has been a great partnership for FCS and the library, or for Extension and the library. It has broadened like my audience, and it's brought new clientele into Extension programming outside of the cooking class, but it's also brought Extension clientele to the library as well. It's been like blending the best of both worlds, I guess.
wonderful. I love it when things work out like that, and might as well, like I said, take advantage of the wealth of resources that are in your county. So, okay. Looks like someone says Kara says we do not have a kitchen, but we have done cheese balls and infused butter. That sounds good.
It does. If you do have like a hand washing station, at least you can do salsas and things like that. Like recipes you don't necessarily have to cook.
There you go. Yes.
Mhm.
So, all right. Looks like Lisa's on good footing with her agent now. So, excellent. So, all right. You'll definitely feel free if you still go ahead and make comments in the chat. I definitely want to say a huge thank you to Erin from LFPL and Marilyn and Andrea from Floyd County for joining us today and presenting. We greatly appreciate y'all taking the time to share what you're doing with the rest of Kentucky Public Libraries, and hopefully it'll get some of them, if they're not already started, on doing some cooking with their community. So it will be wonderful. So want to tell you, like I said, say thank you all very, very much for being willing to present. We greatly appreciate y'all sharing what you do and giving everybody some good ideas to take back to their libraries and maybe try it out. So, all right. Well, y'all definitely keep chatting. If you would like, we'll just keep the room open for a few more minutes. If you're ready to go, you can just click on the left-hand side, the 3 pancakes at the top left-hand corner, and exit the session. And I'll make sure, see if